Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. So back to basics. It's back to school time. We're sticking with this theme, at least for this week. So, question came up actually earlier today. Had a great question about it was an agent that represented a seller, and a buyer's agent gave them a cancellation after the due diligence deadline, but prior to the finance and appraisal deadline. So the question was, hey, do we need to, it didn't seem like they were basing that decision a whole lot on financing. Can they do that? It's a great question because we've got these two different deadlines with different names. They've evolved. So pre-07 REPC, what do we got? You got to provide a loan denial letter. You had some hoops to jump through. Post-07, what world do we live in? Well, now it says at the buyer's sole discretion if they're not satisfied with the terms of their financing. So really that's put in there to be can't really argue with it, right? And the part that's hard for a listing agent or seller sometimes to understand is, hey, well, that seems to give them just a second due diligence deadline. It's kind of a blank check, a get out of the contract free card. And it's true. It is true. And so it's best that we advise our sellers that, yeah, up until the finance appraisal deadline, it is a get out of the contract free card. They're going to get their earnest money back. You're taking your home off the market for that long with perhaps no return. So knowing that, you might counter dates, and understanding that you're probably not going to get anything, you might change your approach when you receive an offer or countering an offer. So do realize, because a lot of times that due diligence deadline is pretty tight in there, and everyone says, that's great, I can live with that amount of time. But then when you get to the finance and appraisal deadline, sometimes a buyer wants to push that out pretty far, right? Because they want enough time to make sure their finances are in order. Great. But that's what this new Section 8 addresses, where you can throw in there, that blank, an amount of the earnest money that will go hard after the due diligence deadline. So everything, but let's say you had a $5,000 earnest money. Well, you could put in there $2,000 goes hard after due diligence. What does that mean? That before, if they still cancel after due diligence, but before finance and appraisal, how much of the $5,000 do they get back? They'll get $3,000 back, right? Because seller will get to keep $2,000. So it's a way to have a buyer keep a little skin in the game up until that finance and appraisal deadline. Can be negotiated, knowing that the buyer wants that extra time to work out their finances. Great, but I need something in return as the seller if I'm going to keep my home off the market. So just be cognizant of that and how that works. Make sure we're telling our sellers really the picture of what they're going to get if a buyer backs out. Hopefully that's helpful. Remember, as always, this is not specific legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Please throw a comment if there's a topic you want us to hit. Look on YouTube if you want more of our videos. We have built up a little bit of a library now. Thanks for tuning in.